Good morning, dear guests, dear speakers, and all the everyone who is watching us online. We're starting our working day, and now we are going to have a very important event, the announcement of the selected partner communities in Zakarpattia, Zhytomyr, Odesa, and Rivne Oblast. Before we start, I would like to announce that this event was organized by Ukrainian Crisis Media Center under the Hoverla project, which became possible due to the Usaid support through through Hoverla project. And I'm happy, and it is my honor to give the floor to our first speaker, Mr. John Hope, the director of the Usaid mission in Ukraine.
Are we on? Yes. Okay. Well, first of all, thank you, Deputy Minister, colleagues, guests, and everyone online. It's great to be here. It's great to talk about an important development in our program called Hoverla, and an important development in our partnership with the government of Ukraine at the national and the local level on decentralization and empowering local governments. So today we're very pleased to announce the expansion of the Hoverla program to add 40 new communities to the program. This is in addition to the 25 communities that we started with, so we're now up to, if I do my math correctly, 65 communities that we're working with under the Hoverla program. Now, it's really, I would say, never been more critical for supporting the work of local governments and local leaders around the country. And obviously this is because of the brutal war that has been going on and causing and continuing to cause a number of unbelievable challenges for leaders and citizens around the country. There's been a terrible loss of life, and we see this every single day. There has been terrible devastation and destruction in local communities, and I've been out and about outside of Kyiv to see that as well. And it is truly horrific, and yet at the same time, meeting with local governments and citizens, there's great inspiration in the strength and the resilience of Ukrainian leadership and Ukrainian people who are already repairing and rebuilding and trying to restore services in their communities. Now, for USAID, we have supported decentralization reforms for a long time. It's a very important reform for the people of Ukraine. It has a direct and tangible impact on people's lives. But since the war started, we adapted our program because there are new needs and new challenges, in whether it's equipment for emergency responders, whether it's IT capacity to help communities absorb and provide services to the many who have been displaced. Whatever it was needed, that's what we tried to provide, and that's what we will continue to provide. But today is about announcing 40 more communities. And we do this not only because of the need and the importance of decentralization, but it's also about the fact that local leaders and citizens are really playing a heroic role, I would call it, in defending Ukraine's freedom and while providing services to citizens, and never forgetting about the importance of long-term local governance and decentralization reforms, all at the same time. So this is really remarkable. USAID will continue this assistance under the Hoverla program, and the United States stands with Ukraine as they defend freedom and independence and sovereignty against Russia's brutal aggression. Thank you very much. Дуже дякую.
Дякую, пане Хоп, за ваші слова, за вашу підтримку, яку ви надаєте. І для
Thank you, Mr. Hope, for your support and for the support the USAID provides. And I would like to give the floor to Deputy Minister Nehoda for his remarks.
Шановні колеги,
Good morning, dear colleagues, dear partners, dear friends, and representatives of local governments, communities, today, for me, is a very big day, not only because we are announcing these new communities, but because we are able to meet offline, not online, finally, in the center of Kyiv, at the European Square, in the Ukrainian culture home, together with the representatives of the Usaid Hoverla activity and our colleagues who are here. This is very good sign and very significant event, and I think it has a very strong meaning in terms of supporting the spirit and supporting the bravery of the armed forces of Ukraine and of the entire Ukrainian people. We're talking about communities today, and of course, when we speak about decentralization, we can look at it from a new perspective now. For 145 days of armed aggression, we saw that the reform that we were talking about for many years, and there were different opinions about the reform, when we had to convince the communities that they are the foundation of local self-government and the foundation of local democracy and the basis for local economy and for quality services for the residents. Not everybody would understand it, and some people were trying to argue that decentralization will ruin the basics of the government. But the war showed us the opposite, that the decentralization reform helped us to establish strong communities, capable communities, which from the first days, along with the armed forces of Ukraine and the reinforcement forces, were resisting to the enemy. The enemy, and they are the front line. And I think many of you saw these videos when in Kharkov, for example, when they were cleaning the streets, sweeping the streets, and falling shells and bombs. And the territorial communities convinced all of us that the reform we were talking about, the reform we were doing together, was the right path, and we need to continue walking along this path to complete this decentralization, to, of course, after the war is over. And in the current context, it is also very important that we continue supporting the communities. Today, we are facing the new challenges and new tasks that we even half a year ago we couldn't even think of. And we are very grateful to our partners that despite these challenges, despite the problems, various problems that are thrown at us, the Hoverla project continues working, and other international technical assistance projects continue their operation with the support of the American government. And the USAID provides direct support, and this support is very important today, and it has never been as crucial. And I repeat myself that in today's context, with the challenges thrown at us, we need to look for new forms of supporting territorial communities. And the fact that today we are announcing the newly elected 40 communities that were selected as a result of complex competitive selection. These 40 winners that we will hear about their names. We will hear their names today, and it is very important that the Hoverla partner communities will use these recommendations, the proposals and the capacity of Hoverla activity to strengthen their institutional capacity, to foster their development, and to avoid interruption of services that they are providing today, they keep providing today. We have selected various communities from various regions, from Poltava, from Odesa. We have communities from Odesa, from Zhytomyr Oblast, from Zakarpattia Oblast. So the geography is very broad, and some regions are closer to the front line than others. Some regions face different problems, but this allows us to strengthen the capacity not only of the regions but of local self-government in Ukraine as a whole. And for those communities that were not selected among those 40 communities, I would like to reassure them that together with Hoverla, we have discussed that we will continue supporting all communities that want to change and to improve their local governments, local self-government, and those who want to bring our victory closer. We will continue supporting them and scaling up our experience. So I would like to thank you for our cooperation and wish the new communities success, because your success is the success of the entire Ukraine. We will win. All will be Ukraine. Glory to Ukraine.
Українців і що саме цей
Thank you very much, Mr. Nehoda, for highlighting the examples of Ukrainian heroism and for the presentation of scaling up of Hoverla activity. I would like to give the floor to the chief of party of the Hoverla activity, Mr. Gabriel Abraham. The floor is yours.
It's a privilege for me to be sitting here on the dais with Vyacheslav and with Jim Hope. To make the announcement for the selection of our new sets of partner communities to work with the Hoverla project. As Vyacheslav stated, never has it been more important, the work of the local governments. The local governments are at the front line of this brutal invasion. We see this every day in the way they respond to the growing numbers of IDPs and the services that they have to provide to their existing community as well as to the new community, all under the conditions of war and all under the fog of war. So to me, it's a privilege to be here in person, to make this announcement, and to make a commitment to working on the Hoverla project to provide support to local governments. Today we're going to be announcing the partnership with 40 new communities, bringing our total to 65. The 40 new communities that will be partnering with the Hoverla project are in Odesa, Rivne, Zhytomyr, and Zakarpattia. But before going to list the communities, I would like to give a very quick overview of what the Hoverla project does. The Hoverla project is a project funded by Usaid. It's a 5-year project. It started in year 2021 and will go through 2026. It's a large project. It has a budget of $74 million, but more significantly, the project has the availability of funds for purchasing of goods, for procurement in local government, as well as grants to support civil society and citizens' engagement. The project, with the addition of these new communities, will now have 7 regional offices in addition to our Kiev office. So we'll be working in 7 oblasts and in total 65 communities. The previous 3 oblasts were Poltava, Volyn, and Lviv. Hoverla project also works with many partners. We work with partners in the central government. We work with partners in the local government and subnational governments. The principal partner for the Hoverla project is the Ministry of Communities and Territorial Development. But in addition, Hoverla works with the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine, the Ministry of Digital Transformation, and many, many other ministries, because local government is not simply uni-visioned. It works on agriculture, education, health, and a myriad of other topics. At the regional level, Hoverla works very closely with the Oblast administration, with the Rayon administration, and now with these community and municipality councils. But there are other partners as well for Hoverla. These include the National Institute of Ukrainian Civil Service, numerous universities, state emergency services, and many, many local government associations that provide support to the communities. Hoverla works with 3 principal objectives. The first objective is to support legislative framework, which is the framework for the decentralization reforms that Ukraine has so successfully embarked upon. The second objective is strengthening of local governments. And the third one is increasing citizens' engagement. I'd like to give you a brief overview of each of those 3 components. On legislation, there are activities that Hoverla was working on prior to the invasion. First, it was to support local government associations to serve as advocates at the parliament, to advocate for revision of law and to review laws and to do analysis of laws. But among the principal laws that they were looking at were the amendment to the Constitution and the administration of territorial divisions, all the more important now during this time of invasion. In the early days prior to the war, Hoverla also provided assistance to the parliament and to the mayors to identify the legislative priorities for decentralization in the year 2022. And also worked with universities and young lawyers to strengthen the abilities of future cadre of leaders to work on decentralization. However, with the war, Hoverla has shifted. And I would say that this is perhaps a hallmark of how the Hoverla project is functioning and perhaps a hallmark of how USAID has designed this project, which is to say flexible and adaptive to the conditions of the land. With some of these laws on hold, there have been a new set of laws that need to be reviewed and analyzed and provided to the local governments. And this includes laws vis-a-vis economic development, the development and reconstruction of the country, human resources, budget, local taxes, administration, and most importantly, the mandates of the local government. To touch on the work of Hoverla in the second objective, which is local government strengthening, and perhaps local government strengthening being at the very center of what Hoverla does. Prior to the invasion, Hoverla was working with 25 communities to build their capacity to support their communities. We provided training on spatial planning, asset management, natural resource management, budgeting, project planning, strengthening the competence of the municipality, and administrative procedures. In addition to that, also support the local government with socio-economic development and municipal management. And as I mentioned earlier, the project also has a grant pool, and so many projects were identified to receive financial support from the Hoverla project to these local communities. But since the war, again, the project has had to make some changes and adjustments. and changes of priorities. And these include supporting partner communities on developing of urban plans, developing guidelines and procedures to exercise their new authorities under the changed conditions, analyzing of principled draft laws that the municipalities receive, and also interpreting the laws on behalf of the municipalities. Working very closely with the Ministry of Communities and Territorial Development on post-war construction, what that can look like and what are the necessary steps to prepare for post-war construction, service delivery, and information dissemination. The project has helped with these partner communities on developing of model regulation and ordinances, and training to municipality officials to work under this condition of martial law. These are some of the highlights of the project and activities of Hoverla. I mention these because as we embark on partnership with the new municipalities, these are the kinds of services that we will be providing to these new to our new partners. As Deputy Minister Nehoda mentioned earlier, we have these communities as our partners, but that's not where the reach of Hoverla ends. Hoverla will support those partner communities, but in addition, we will be providing training and technical support to most and all communities of Ukraine. And we've learned some very valuable lessons with COVID, the ability to work online. And so trainings can be provided to many of our municipalities. And by the way, I should say that we have many of our mayors online now, even as we are having this presentation. So the online platform has given us the ability to reach many more communities than our 65 that are mandated. And now I would like to announce and list our partner communities. And before I do so, I will ask for forgiveness as I butcher some of the names. In Zhytomyr Oblast, we have chosen Cherniakivska, Chudnivska, Hrishovetska, Irshanska, Korostenska, Horoshivska, Lyubarska, Novograd, Volinska, Teterivska, Yemil, Chilinska. In Zakarpattia, we have chosen Bilkivska, Bushtinska, Dovzhanska, Horinshivska, Irshavska, Mizhirska, Polyanska, Vinohradivska, Velikobishkivska, Yasinyanska. The screen has gone off. In Odesa Oblast, we have chosen, one more? Okay. In Odesa, we have chosen Artsitska, Balska, Bilhorod-Dnistrovsky, Bolradska, Chornomorska, Dobroslavska, Kodimska, Savianivska, Viziriska, Yuzhnenska. And finally, in Rivne Oblast, we have selected Bilohrinska, Horshanska, Kostopilska, Koretska, Klesivska, Ostro, Radivilivska, Rokitnivska, Sarnenska, Zdolbunivska. I would like to congratulate the mayors of all of these communities because they have made valiant effort in submitting applications and these communities were selected based on the strength of their communities. And as they are all online, and as the Oblast administration is also online during this announcement, I would like to congratulate all of you. I look forward to working with each and every one of you in person as well as a project. Thank you very much.
Дякую дуже.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gabriel, for your comprehensive presentation and for announcing this, for making it this announcement of this list. I would like to re-announce the communities that were the joint project, Hoverla project. In Zhytomyr Oblast, it is Korosten, Novograd-Volynskий, Черняхів, Хорошівська, Гришковецька, Любарська, Ємельчинська, Чуднівська, Іршанська, and Тетерівська громада communities. In Zakarpattia, it is Irshavska, Виноградівська, Білківська, Довжанська, Великобичківська, Бурштинська, Горінчівська, Полянська, Ясенянська and Межигірська communities. In Odesa Oblast, it is Bilhorod-Dnistrovsky, Чорноморська, Балтська, Доброславська, Візирська, Safyanivska, Южнинська, Болградська, Арцизька, Кодимська communities. And in Rivne, it is Zdolbunivska, Острозька, Костопільська, Корецька, Клесівська, Гощанська, Білокринічська, Сарненська, Радивилівська, Рокітнянська communities. And now I would like to give the floor to the representatives of each of the 4 oblasts. I ask my colleagues to bring them to the screen. And the first, I would like to give the floor to Vladyslav Sukhliak, head of Zdolbunivska municipality, Rivne Oblast. So you hear me well? Yes, the floor is yours. Thank you. Dear colleagues, dear speakers and dear organizers of this event, I would like to render my respect and send you greetings from 390,000 residents of Zdolbuniv community in Rivne. And this is the community where each resident sees how their taxes work. And we see the perspective in the development of the community, and the government, together with these residents, look at the ways to to spend financial resources. And the residents, in their turn, offer their trust to our government. This is the clear picture of the ideal future of Zdolbuniv community. About 80% of our community is urban population. Our community can be characterized as the industrial community and agricultural community and agricultural also settlements. We have a very good understanding of the goals of Hoverla activity, and they align with our intentions for the future. Unfortunately, we haven't yet developed the strategy of community development, but our main priorities is the building of a safe, healthy, and prosperous community. We have a request for a strategy in this ambiguous situation in terms of the martial law, with the engagement of experts and people who are interested in the development of our community. As for the safety component, this is one of the priorities for our communities, and I think it is the priority for each government. And in context of war, it's gaining significance. So for a quick response and for to prevent crimes, especially in the critical enterprises for the communities. We need to install video surveillance to make our community safer. We are also planning to build a strong foundation for local economic development through effective cooperation and partnership between the public-private partnership and the partnership with civil society. It is important for us to implement the contemporary tools for business in the community and improve the infrastructure for to make business environment more friendly. We are also planning to improve the services provided to the residents of the community and to internally displaced persons in the fields of healthcare, communal services, utilities, and administrative services. An important priority for us is supporting youth initiatives. First of all, we want to we have a hydro park. It is our little gem that we have, and we want to establish a sport complex and support American football. All the projects that we are planning to implement, we will be implementing together with the civil society in the newly developed hub, because we understand that each and everyone is responsible for the prosperity of the community. What we expect from participation in this largest donor program in our country on decentralization. First of all, it is one of the outcomes that we expect is providing quality services to community residents, and we would like to become an example and show the best practices, share our best practices and experience of participating in the project, share it with other communities, because it is very important and very relevant today. I would like to thank Zdolbuniv City Council, because during these 2 years they have done many important things. There are many achievements. From small local projects, we have reached our peak, Hoverla, which is the top project in Ukraine, and I'm really grateful that these achievements of our team were so highly appreciated. We also, in this context, we are focusing on addressing the needs of the community, because when our team and when the team of local self-government and the local council work alone and think alike, they achieve synergy. Thank you very much for your attention, and I would like to wish each of us peace, victory and...
Дякую, пане Сухляк. До слова запрошую представника.
Now I'm giving the floor to the head of Bilhorod-Dnistrovsky Council, Viktor Hrazhdan, Odesa Oblast. This community is the closest to warfare zone. Mr. Vitalii, the floor is yours. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, dear conference participant. I'm extremely grateful for the invitation to take part and present our city at such high level. I would like separately thank you to the Usaid governance and accountability activity to give us opportunity to become your partner. My name is Vitalii Hrazhdan, and today I'm representing the Bilhorod-Dnistrovsky city. Let's me in brief introduce you about our city. I could talk for hours about Bilhorod-Dnistrovsky, but our city is located at the shore of Dniester estuary and in 20 kilometers from the Black Sea shore. Maybe you have heard Zatoka and Karolina Bogas cities, but currently you can make conclusion that there are cases of missile attacks against our city, but during the peacetime we are a resort city. Resorts of Bilhorod-Dnistrovsky rayon host more than 5 million of tourists annually, and the city of Bilhorod-Dnistrovsky is one of the oldest cities not only in Ukraine but also of Europe, having more than 2,500 years. After the decentralization reform, Bilhorod-Dnistrovsky became Bilhorod-Dnistrovsky territorial community. So the city became administrative rayon center of 16 amalgamated territorial communities within the Bilhorod-Dnistrovsky rayon. Our population, as for the 1st January of previous year, is 47,000 people. Currently we don't have precise figures because we've got a lot of IDPs, those who were abroad. But before the war, we have more than 47,000. Our industry represented by port economy and transport infrastructure. According to all Ukrainian ranking of institutional capacity, as at 1st February 2021, we received the 2nd rank among the Odesa Oblast communities. During the last years, we actively worked on local economical development, small and medium business development, and tourism business development. During that time, we developed a tourism brand of the city, created new tourist facilities, and established high-quality dialogue with local businesses. We created a federation of boxing of Bilhorod-Dnistrovsky and hold all Ukrainian box junior championship in our city. But from February 24th at all the countries, we were forced to reshift our priorities, and we focused on immediate reaction of those affected from warfare and Russian aggression. Taking the current situation, now we have more than 150 internally displaced people. So we identified 3 core projects during the wartime which are important for our cities, and we will work for implement them. First, creating a modular housing camp for IDPs. The purpose creating a valuable housing condition for IDPs in our city by creating modular houses for them and creating a full standing modular house with kindergarten, with playgrounds, with green recreation zone. For creating conditions for IDP integration, we provision social and economic action of Peace Festival and creating an alley of peace. For proper utilities and housekeeping, this modular town will be maintained by a local budget, but after the war we will use this modular campaign as a tourist recreation facilities. So the partners will be our territorial community and communal increment to invest enterprise. Second, reconstruction of tests to the purpose is increase environmental friendly condition for inhabitants to save environment of the community and restore the water treatment plant by using modern building materials, energy-saving equipment, and increased automation of water treatment processes. It will be implemented by City Council. The budget of the project more than 58 million hryvnias. Third project, creation of barrier-free inclusive structure of administrative service provision by creating new administrative service centers. In 2021, due to the floods, our old administrative center was destroyed. That's why we decided to ensure our citizens to temporarily establish administrative service center in Bilhorod-Dnistrovsky council, but currently it couldn't host the requested administrators, and the administrative services are not comfortable and inclusive for everything. Mr. Vitalii, could I help you a little bit? So you're planning to build a new administrative service center. So in general, our city has 2,500 cities, and the center of the city, our downtown, is all buried out because of architectural excavations, and due to this, our old administrative service center just collapsed physically. Due to a lot of historical excavations and underground historical structure, it brings to the situation that our inhabitants have no access to proper administrative services, and our third project is aimed at rectifying the project. I kindly ask you to sum up because we are a little bit lack of time. I'm almost finished, sorry. We expect that thanks to the fruitful cooperation with Hoverla activity, we will receive required knowledge and experience help Bilhorod-Dnistrovsky to become capable, inclusive, and open city. Thank you very much, thank you very much for your attention.
Now I would like to give the floor to Viktor Symkanynets, head of Irshava municipality in Zakarpattia Oblast. This is the most western community among the communities represented today. The sound is very bad. Could you please reconnect? And we are giving the floor to Volodymyr Moskalenko. In the meantime, this is the head of Korosten municipality in Zhytomyr Oblast. Dear guests, I'm very happy to to join the project and to hear that the Usaid mission supports the communities. Korosten Hromada was established in the late 2020 by amalgamation of several communities. Its population is 173,000 people, with the administrative center in Korosten. The Korosten is located within 150 kilometers from Kiev and 80 kilometers from the border with Belarus. It's a railway hub, and it has quite a well-developed infrastructure, road infrastructure. It's an industrial city, and some companies work in the field of agriculture, and our industrial companies cooperate with agricultural companies. But unfortunately, the industrial companies had to cut production by 50% in our community. So we were one of the first communities where an industrial park was established. We are now in the process of establishing an eco-industrial park for business development and for construction, for the development of production. We need to work more on spatial planning, because this is one of the most crucial issues for business development. And to start construction, we need to have good spatial plans, have topography video, because we have 80,000 hectares of land that we can use for construction of for industrial construction. We also have developing farming in our community, and we hope to help this farming develop very well, because some territories that joined the communities, they are focusing on agricultural production, and we hope that they will grow in that regard. We have quite many sister cities, for example, Slovyansk, which is our sister city, and we send them humanitarian aid, food, and we receive internally displaced persons from there, and we are hoping we're hoping to employ these people and to give them jobs in our industrial companies. Our city of Korosten is quite old, and it's a long story, and it has a long history, and we have tourist attractions, so we are planning to develop them as well. Korosten community has signed the certain European treaties. We have developed a new plan of sustainable environmental development by 2030, and an important objective in that, an important component in our environmental development is river recovery, because the river of Teteriv provides about 80% of fresh water for the city, and the water pollution is a very big problem for us, and a very important task for us is to help river recovery. We are working with companies, and since in the city it is more or less okay, but we are working to improve the situation in other settlements of the amalgamated communities. It is important to establish collaboration between the local self-governments and between the local self-governments and the residents. And since our resident profile is quite diverse, we need to address the needs of all residents and engage them in participatory engage them in the life of the community. And with the support of the Usaid Hoverla project and the Ministry of Regional and Territorial Development, other stakeholders, Korosten community will make a step closer to our strategic vision, which is an environmentally clean region, environmentally safe region with well-developed industry and agriculture, and well-developed in terms of tourism with thank you very much for your ambitious goals, and thank you for participation in our event. I wish you successful implementation of the project, and
Закарпатська область.
So let's try with Irshava community one more time. Do you hear me? Loosey, but we will do our best. As a Zhytomyr representative Irshavska community of Zakarpattia Oblast, I would like to inform you that we've got 36,000 population living in about 20 settlements. The territory is mostly mountainous and agricultural. Our community is a young one. We would like to see our community as open, friendly, environmentally friendly, tourist attractive in the heart of Zakarpattia. So we are ready to do everything to ensure equal access to cultural, educational, healthcare, administrative services, and we will do our best that municipal authorities and local inhabitants will live together in friendly and fruitful cooperation to ensure our activities. We are very glad to become a part of the Hoverla activity, and on this behalf I would like to say a pair of words what are our objectives. Our key revenues is payment of corporate income tax. We've got several industrial enterprises. We don't have large enterprises at our territories. That's why we have what we have. At our territory, we've got a wonderful national recreation park, enchanted land, have a huge opportunity for tourism development. At this park they're located UNESCO World Heritage lands and territories with international environmental certification. Certainly from February 24th, the entire territory of Ukraine and all territorial communities should adapt to the warfare condition. Our territories received more than 4,000 internally displaced persons. So it increased the number of our population, and certainly it creates problems for needing new services, both for local inhabitants and for IDPs. Our communities have a lot of challenges and unresolved questions. That's why we are ready to improve in engaging in decision making of our local communities. We are looking that we will cooperate with Hoverla for 4 years in developing comprehensive spatial development plan, development of community strategy, development of community environmental strategy, establishing cooperation with Shatsk territorial communities, improving our national park, and also engaging our neighbors Dovzhanska and Bushtinska territorial communities and maybe create a single environmental hub for the neighboring communities. We've got problems of water supply of the territories. We should modernize our water supply enterprise equality and to make it more modern and safe. We are very glad that we were selected for participation in Hoverla. Thank you very much for organizers, for Usaid, and for all who work in the Hoverla project, because decentralization is extremely important for Ukraine, and communities, thanks to you, have an opportunity to continue their development in their areas. I will be very glad for our cooperation. Thank you very much for supporting Ukraine. That's why I propose to come to questions and answer sessions. I will voice them out. Mr. Gabriel Abraham, the question is for you.
The 25 communities that have already participated and 40 others joined. What about the rest, about 1,500 communities of Ukraine? Will they get any benefits, or will they get any direct or indirect support from the USAID Hoverla activity?
The 25 communities have been receiving direct support from Hoverla. The additional 40 communities will also receive similar direct technical assistance from Hoverla. But there are many things that can be provided across the nation. Training can be done online. Peer-to-peer learning can be done from one community to the other. Intercommunal services can be provided among other communities. There's going to be many shared resources among communities that may not be counted as partners to Hoverla. So the answer to your question is that Hoverla has identified partners where we'll be providing significant support, but that does not preclude the other communities from participating in Hoverla activities. The program is also designed to have some communities graduate. They will excel in some things, and we hope that we can choose another set of partner communities in the future, and at the same time, for these communities that have grown or graduated, let's say, to provide support secondarily to other communities. Thank you very much.
Дякую за вашу відповідь. І пане Джим Хоуп, запитання до вас. От якщо говорити взагалі
As a question for Mr. Jim Hope about activity of the USAID mission in Ukraine. What other projects could be completely or partially useful and beneficial for local communities and local self-governments? Thank you very much.
Thanks. I really like that question, first of all, because Hoverla is one part of a much larger assistance partnership between the United States and the people and government of Ukraine. So we've heard a lot about what Hoverla is doing, but there are many other activities that USAID, together with our Ukrainian colleagues, are implementing throughout the country that would be of benefit to local governments. So, for example, activities that focus on supporting business, I would highlight. There are many businesses that have been forced to relocate their operations. There are many people who've had to leave their jobs behind because they've been displaced by war. And so we are supporting opportunities, economic opportunities for new businesses to start in different communities, as well as for people to get skills that they might need to join the workforce, whether it's in IT or other areas. And then for existing businesses that have expanded, we hope to provide support that will help those businesses grow and thrive and contribute to the new communities where they are. So that's one example. I would just give a quick other example because it's so important, and that's the agricultural sector. And there, as we all know, this is a very important driver of Ukraine's economy. It's, I think, just part of Ukraine's fabric as a nation, in the soil and in the people and in the farms, and helping restore and helping that sector recover and be productive and be fruitful is very, very important and something that directly impacts local communities as well, and that's something we will continue to support. There are many other examples, but I think in the interest of time, I'll stop there.
Thank you at least for these two bright examples. І, пане Вячеславе, до вас запитання. Зачитую. Ми бачимо
It's a question for Deputy Minister Nehoda. We see that the European region works on engaging the Ukrainian municipalities to cooperation with the EU. What can we expect from such cooperation? It's a very interesting question, and actually the experience of partnership, it's been a long term experience, and each community today has the right to find contacts, direct contacts, establish direct contacts with the European municipalities and also worldwide. Within our activities, together with other international technical assistance projects, the European Council project, since the start of the war, we have conducted about 6 marathons engaging about 1,000 municipalities from the entire world, from 35 countries, and there were communications between them and our communities. We wanted to show the truth about the aggression which was initiated by Russia. On the other hand, our other goal was to establish contacts and use them to join efforts in further interaction, in further communication. As for our further work, we are now collecting information, because before we never focused on that, and each community decided with which municipalities they want to partner. But we would like to have this information and have this data, which communities partner with which foreign communities, and which communities have no international partners, so we could help them to establish such contacts. But this depends on the willingness and on commitment of communities themselves, and we will be as supportive as possible. And since Ukraine has become the candidate to join the EU, I hope that new opportunities will open. I think it will be from the it will start in the next budget, EU budget year. So we will get access to some funds that our communities can benefit from, and we will inform about this, because the task of our ministry, which is titled the Ministry of Community Development. All our activities need to be related to community development in any area. And for us, it doesn't matter in which area of development the community will select. For us, it is important that the community develops and grows with the help of international technical assistance. For us, the main task is now to maintain the quality of services and to strengthen the our security and safety. I don't mean only the safety of our country and of the safety of its people, but also we need to look at the food safety of communities. This is what Mr. Hope mentioned, because there are many projects that support the development of agricultural businesses, of farming, because our communities are not simply settlements, they're not just towns or villages, but the communities also include agricultural lands. And for us it is important that these lands are used as efficiently as possible, and that we address the issues of food safety. Of course, we need to hope for the better, but we need to think about possible bad scenarios of energy supplies. We are going to face a very difficult, a very challenging winter in terms of heating, and we need to work on these issues all together as well. In the together with Hoverla activity, we have changed some priorities, and I think we need to address the communities, the needs of the communities. If anybody wants to join, we haven't had any case that an international technical assistance project would refuse to provide consultative support or recommendation, etc. As for the funding for specific purposes, of course, there are certain rules and we need to follow them. But for us, the main task is to look for our own resources within the communities. So we give the communities the fishing poles, and it is your task to catch the fish from your lakes within your territorial community. So it is your task to use the resources that you have available. Thank you very much, Mr. Nehoda. Actually, you finalized, you summarized our meeting, and I give the floor to Jim Hope.
Great. Well, thanks. This has been a really important event, and it's an event that reminds us that there are many things happening in Ukraine, that there's a war going on, a fight on the battlefield, but there is also inspiration and motivation and ambition in many, many communities around Ukraine, and we heard just about that from our colleagues out and our mayors and their councils out in the field. This is a great partnership. Local government is where the government and people come together in very tangible ways. And as we heard from the Deputy Minister, maintaining quality of services for people is very, very important, both for government as well as for the citizens for themselves. So for USAID, we just stand with all of you, and we're very, very proud of the Hoverla program and our Gabriel and our colleagues. This is a program that's going to have tremendous impact, and it will have tremendous impact because of our ability to work together as one team, one Hoverla team. So looking forward to more great results as we go forward. Thank you.
Дуже дякую за це надихаюче слово. Ми вже змушені завершити.
Thank you very much for such an inspiration. Due to timing, we must wrap up our event. Thank you very much for our highly distinguished American partners. Thank you for all our communities. Thank you very much. Have a safe day. See you soon. Bye-bye.